What a pleasure it is to be with you tonight. Have I got a mic that works here? Is that better? Is that better? Look at you. Look at you. That's the thing. Oh, look at you. Look at you. Look at you. Look at you. Look around. Look around. Canada is in the room. Look at this. People from every land, from every religion, from every background, all together in one room because you love your country. You're either... I don't think you're feeling very ethnic tonight. I don't think that. You're not feeling very ethnic tonight. You're feeling very Canadian tonight. Make sure one thing now. Let's be very sure here. Did anybody check your identity cards when you came in? Oh, all right. Anybody check your Facebook page? All right, you're in a liberal rally. It's so good to see you. So good to see you. And we're going to do politics the old-fashioned way tonight. We're going to show the other parties how you do it. I'm going to stand here and you're going to ask me questions, and if you don't like my answers, you can go somewhere else. That's how it works. No, I'm serious. I'm not an entertainer. I'm not a comedian. That's what we need to understand. I have to be here. I have to be here. I have to answer your questions to the best of my ability, and if you don't like the answers, you go somewhere else where you get an answer you like better. That's what they call democracy. That's how it works. I'd just like to say we've got a wonderful competition going on in Canada at the moment, because every night I go out to these rallies and I think, that is the biggest crowd I ever saw. And then each night it gets bigger and bigger. You did pretty well tonight, Brampton. All right. I know how, for everyone in this room, family means a great deal to every one of you. And I just wanted to say that this is a very special room for me because a member of my family is here. A guy who I grew up with, a guy who I turn to every time I'm in a jam, a guy who's never let me down, my brother Andrew. And I want to introduce my wife, Susanna, who's here. Stand up. You'll be relieved to know she is quality control. Nothing gets out of hand when she's in the room. So there we are. Now there's one other thing. This is a liberal rally, but I want to make it as clear as I can that if you vote for other parties, the NDP or the Conservatives or the Green, we bid you a warm and respectful welcome. We are delighted that you are in the room tonight. There you go. Now, why are we having this election in the first place? We need to answer that question. Mr. Harper keeps saying this is an unnecessary election. I've never heard of an election more necessary than this one in my life. We're here. Let's be clear what the choices are here. We're here not, an election is not about choosing which party you'd like to have best in opposition, which opposition party you like. This is a choice of government. What is the next government of Canada going to be? Liberal! There we go. Monsieur Duceppe gets up and he said in the debate, it was very funny, what I have to offer for Quebec, my grand vision for Quebec, is a minority conservative government. I didn't think that was too appealing myself. Ce que j'offre aux Québécois, c'est un gouvernement minoritaire conservateur. C'est ça que dit M. Duceppe. C'est pas très excitant, non? So, then Mr. Layton says he wants to be the government of Canada. The problem is, and I say this with respect to supporters of the NDP has never formed a federal government in Canada in all its history. And Mr. Layton, it kind of shows, because if you look closely at the platform, and I take Mr. Layton very seriously, but if you take him very seriously, you got to look at the platform. You got to see whether it adds up. Folks, the numbers don't add up. They really don't add up. This man is serious about trying to propose an alternative to the government of Canada, then it's got to be a serious alternative. And this, folks, is what a serious alternative looks like. This is a serious alternative. This is a serious alternative. And by serious, a platform where the numbers add up. Where we can tell our fellow citizens as we go to the door what every single promise will cost and how we will pay for it. If we're going to say to Canadians, and we're the only party out there saying, we want to have every family have access to a learning passport. It's the thing that excites me most about this platform. A learning passport. So that every single family that wants to send their kids to college or university, all they have to do is open a registered savings account, and a Liberal government will put $4,000 into every account for every student, so that we can say something we've always longed to say: if you get the grades, you get to go. That's what we believe. And if you have to take time off, looking after a loved one who gets sick in the home, we'll let you take 6 months off compassionate EI leave, and we'll throw in $1,350 to help you look after your loved ones at home. That's what it means to care about a family. That's what it means to stand for a family. And if you believe in family, then you want to make sure that every family that needs it gets early learning and childcare for every family, every child in Canada. That's what we mean. These are the kind of commitments we made. And then we've said, because we have it in our bones in this party, a passionate, unwavering commitment to universal public health care for all citizens. And I have said, people say, well, we can get to that in 2014. And we're saying, we get a government on the 2nd of May, and in the first 60 days we'll convene a conference of the prime ministers of the country, the leaders of all the provinces and territories, and we'll sit down right there by the end of the summer and talk about how to save and reform and invest in our public health care system. And we're the only party saying that. And then when people say to us, well, how are you going to pay for that, Mr. Ignatieff? Nice, fine promises. How are we going to pay for that? Times are tough out there. You know times are tough. I cannot raise the taxes on Canadian families. It's too tough and it's too tight out there. So how are you going to pay for it, Mr. Ignatieff? We're going to peg the corporate tax rate at 18%. Here's the deal. Here's the situation. We've got banks, insurance companies, and oil companies. They are doing just fine. The people who need help are the families of Canada. It's time to choose. It's time to choose. That's what it means to be serious in politics. You make a promise, you cost it, you tell the people how you're going to pay for it, you deliver it in the first budget of a Liberal government. So we're into the business of choosing a government on the 2nd of May, and everybody in this room understands that. A government, by the way, folks, it's not the Harper government. It's the government of Canada. It's the government of the people of Canada. So there we are. And let's just remember why we're having an election. We're having an election because Mr. Harper, when you're in... Well, your words, not mine, sir. He said something I can't repeat in public. We're having an election. We're having an election for a fundamental reason. And it happens very rarely. In fact, it's never happened before in our country's history that a prime minister was found in contempt of Parliament. He broke the basic rules of our democracy. And so this is the key issue for me. If you can't trust a man on democracy, you can't trust him on anything at all. You can't trust him on health care. You can't trust him on the economy because he doesn't respect the basic rules that keep us free. So, speaking of democracy, I think it's time we did a little of that, don't you? Yes. I think it's time we did a little of that. So that's what we're going to do. We are going to have questions. Now, where are these microphones? They are here and they are there. These two young people are going to hand the microphone to some people and they are going to ask questions. And I swear to you, hand on my heart, I haven't a clue what they're going to ask me. This is the scary part from my point of view. But like I said, I don't have any choice. Anybody who seeks public office, Bonnie, Nav, Gerbach, Ruby, and Obar, and Andrew, they know the rules here. We are accountable to you. We have to stand up and answer your questions. If you don't like the answers, you go somewhere else. That's how it works. That's what we're going to do. We're going to show the other parties what democracy looks like, especially those conservatives. All right. Now, the one final thing before we get to the questions, that not a lot of people know this, but a question is a short interrogative statement followed by a question mark. And in this room, because there's so many people here, there's one per customer. Okay, let's get going. We're going to start.
Thank you very much. This is my question, please. I'm going to raise my hand.
Yeah.
My question is, because I'm a normal person, right? I'm more concerned about the gas prices and how you're going to control, because you told me that you're going to be tough on the gas companies, the banks, and one more segment you told me, in the insurance people. I don't know how you're going to be tough with these people who has lobbies inside the government. Now, how are you going to be tough with them? That's my question.
Good question. Very good question. This is why I like doing these public meetings. As I came in the door not 15 minutes ago, the first guy in the door said gas prices. The first guy. He actually runs some gas stations and he knows a lot about it. He's a friend of mine. What are we going to do here? A couple of things. First of all, remember this family pact. Remember, our priority is to sustain the standard of living Canadian families. I cannot roll back gas prices. I want to be straight and honest with you. What I can do, and we've got the biggest expert in the country in our caucus, he's called Dan McTeague. There is no person, and a lot of people know this, he's a member of Parliament, and there is no person in Canada who knows more about how markups occur along the chain. In government, what we will have to do is get Dan McTeague to look at every markup in that chain to make sure you're not getting gouged. That I can promise you. That we will do. We need to do that, okay? But if global oil prices start shooting up there to 120, 130, 140, dollars a barrel, there is nothing I can do. I don't want to lie to you and I don't want to deceive. What I can do is make sure no one's gouging you, okay? That I can do. The second thing I can do, really important, is help you at the pressure points in your life. If you've got a young people in your family who want to go to college and university, I can help you $4,000 or $6,000 with the cost of their college and university education. If you're looking after your loved one at home, I can help you with $1,350 to make sure you get some help with the home care. I can make sure I can build child care spaces, so if your wife or you needs to get to work and you need to have someone look after your kids, I can do that kind of thing. I can make sure you've got a solid Canada pension plan when you retire, and I can make sure you'll have universal health care when you need it. That I can do to stand for you, okay? That's what we have to offer.